If there's anything I've learned from VEILGUARD, it's that trying to talk the elven god out of completing his evil ritual is a lot like hosting a 10-on-1 no rubbers allowed bukkake party and calling it safe sex. Welcome to Dragon Age VEILGUARD, where today we're going to ask and answer the question, what the hell is a VEILGUARD? Is this game any good? And can my GTX 1080 survive the graphical onslaught of 2024 gaming? Where we're going to take on evil with a family of misfits against impossible odds and maybe just learn some lessons whipped from the cultural puree of Fat Albert and the 2003 after-school lineup of the Disney Channel.
Hire black people. That's discrimination.
We play statistically mainstream John Grey Warden on a quest to defile, defame, and destroy the darkspawn of the world, whisked into a party of daring do by series regular Varric the 510. On a mission to smash and grab and bash and trash the quest of one soulless Knife-Ear McGee, Elven God and High T Domer, we spawn into the city of Minrathous. Faced with the leering eye of a Trade Federation mothership, the citizens are spared the wrath of their paranoid overlords as an energized crack is torn into the sky, the beginning of a ritual spun by Solus the Bald. Demons begin to leak out across the city like an evil wave of foul pre-cum. Along the way, we pick up Harding, 3'7", freckle-smacked magma rug on our urban jaunt. It's here we encounter the first of two roleplay mechanics. We're able to choose between an emotional, sarcastic, or a direct response to dialogue. In my case, I opt for direct because it makes me feel smugly superior for completely ignoring any aspect of the human condition that isn't ruthless ambition. Like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, except I don't bother lying, I just bash the monsters' faces in. We gear up to set out when we encounter our first bit of combat, and how is that combat? Well, it's mostly clicking the left mouse button to shoot auto-targeted magic missiles. As an accessibility measure, this design is fine, but the Mayo needs a little more chili powder if it wants to pack a punch, but we'll see if it improves as we get further into the game. So how do we get Solus to stop the ritual? Well, by moving forward. And while we're here, let's talk graphics. I kinda can't help but notice how pretty this opening segment is. It even catches my eye right here, and I linger just for a moment at the sledge. But be wary when it comes to graphics, because you can never tell if that e-girl's a femboy until the makeup starts running. Back in the action, we get to really capture the feeling of a rushing hero with the stakes so high. I mean, there's just no option but to slide into battle to save the city as a man or woman or they-them of action.
Slide.
We fight our way to the Pygmy Blitzball Stadium to find Nev, wielder of the golden peg leg and certified bad bitch. This game gives us our death ray attack, and we make our way through Solus's hideout through a big-ass teleportation mirror at the bottom of the dungeon.
Play a rook.
It's called an alluvian. They're elven and very...
It's here that we encounter our first boss, and it's time to learn how dodging works. I'll be quick. We're on Arkham rules here, so it's tap to dodge when the corona goes yellow, and if it's red, you better run your ass off. The game also features the beloved standby from 1997 called Don't Stand in the Fucking Fire, Dumbass, or in this case, the red circle on the ground. So we have to ask right now, how's that GTX 1080 holding up? Is she wheezing, huffing, and puffing like your grandmother with a 3-year life expectancy, or is she purring like a kitten? Well, in this year of our Lord, it's simply impossible to know because like all AAA games, the secret recipe to fixing any performance problem is just to hope that upscaling fixes it. And if it doesn't, just be like Todd Howard. Gaslight your customers into believing that they're too poor to deserve to use the product that they purchased legally on Steam.com.
You need to upgrade your PC for this game.
And of course, Varric decides that his priority is to talk down the evil elven god just trying to destroy all of reality by unleashing armies of demons upon the world, rather than to just smash his face in, which is about as smart as being a single mother of 4 and deciding a 10-on-1 bukkake party, no rubbers allowed, as a form of safe sex. There's a chance it won't work, and your dignity's guaranteed to be shot, so why take the risk? Just tie the tube. Or in this case, shank the bald motherfucker in the back and let's all go home. But Mr. 510 here has something to prove, and we're left to clean up his mess by toppling a statue onto the situation.
Together, now!
And this this is the part where we wake up to a full-on Vulcan mind meld with our dream daddy. An errant drop of blood spray landed in his mouth like a menstruating donkey in a Tijuana Dome competition, and now we're linked to the most goth of mystic arts, blood magic. He tells us the other elven gods have escaped and his evil plan was to destroy the Veil, but it's actually our fault for messing it up. Like a politician in a sex scandal, I deny, but he tells us that if we want to fix this, we have to start working together.
So blood magic. Secondly, had I the power to control you, I would already have used it.
It's here we awaken the lighthouse, Solus's former home and his own reality pocket, but we've taken it over, and while there's no bathroom listed, I'm going to enjoy peeing in most of the corners just so he never forgets that I was here.
Can't hurt. In theory.
And it's now that we get our first proper taste of the level up sequence, and on top of the Blitzball orb from earlier, they've clearly taken inspiration from a few other games on the edge of the Pacific Ocean. It's serviceable, and we get to choose between new attacks and abilities and smaller nodes with 10% damage buffs. It's all very 2017. The team regroups, and we decide the first order of business is to get us an ancient elven tech expert, so we track down Balara, this world's autistic Indiana Jones, and of course she tells us that we're stuck in a magic bubble that we have to defuse before we can leave. Always a new obstacle between us and reality.
Gotcha. Oh, people. Where'd you come from?
And it's here that the game finally shows us our first taste of puzzle, and if this were a hot sauce, it would be labeled so mild it's for old white people only. The MacGuffin here is an energy crystal which we must collect from nearby. I get that this isn't supposed to be a big head scratcher, and it's just supposed to help push you into certain parts of the level so that it isn't just pure combat, but damn, this game doesn't even bother with puzzle options, it's just pure easy mode.
Huh, that's a great trick.
We also get the first bit of level interaction using our party members. Throughout levels, there will be obstacles that only our party members can use, like an ancient elven astrolabe for Balara. Once again, these just add to the levels, making them not pure combat, and fair enough, any game needs a bit of variety in the mix unless it's Call of Duty multiplayer. Around this time is when I started experimenting with the second combat style available for mages. You can use an orb and a dagger, which is much faster but has far less range, so you have to be slightly more responsible about your dodging. But overall, it's a bit more satisfying because the attacks are snappier. The mechanical incentive for pushing you into closer quarters is that you build up charges on enemies you attack until you have 3, at which point you can detonate an arcane bomb, which is way less cool than it sounds. It's really just slightly more damage than normal. It's like a rogue rotation from World of Warcraft. And as we get further towards our goal, what do we discover? Dun dun dun, it's the Blight. There's a Darkspawn here in the heart of ancient elf territory, and at the behest of the unleashed elven gods, no less.
Darkspawn!
Good thing Darkspawn are massive pushovers for a Grey Warden like me.
Let's get to that central temple. More Darkspawn! Right where you broke that wall. If I remove the artifact the way I'd usually do it, it'll explode. I've never seen this before. It's almost like it's breathing.
This ugly bastard is our first real boss fight. He's faster than the previous Darkspawn, he'll leap at you, and he has a wide swing around his feet, but overall he isn't too troublesome compared to what we've seen so far. One fun addition is we unlock our ultimate ability, an elemental Kamehameha that we use to take him down right at the end.
What does that crystal do?
Keeps the artifact powered. Oh, no you don't.
Sulanan, Vir Sulevanan, and Asal Dethara.
Well, assalamu alaikum to you too. This crystal powers a knowledge spirit that we're going to use to understand and hack elven artifacts to help defeat the elven gods that Solus unleashed in his little ritual. I'm very lucky this is the first thing that we stumble across exactly when we need it. On our way out, we learn that the VEILGUARD are more or less getting their asses handed to them by the demons running amok, which we'll have to come back to solve later. For now, let's talk about what we've seen so far, because we've seen enough of the game to get a feeling of what we're in for. It should be clear what Bioware we're shooting for with this game, from hardy combat encounters to light and fluffy crystal hunting and interacting with the level using party members from time to time, followed by heavy story action beats that change the status quo or push the game along. Then lighter reaction beats, featuring party members dealing with the outcome and bonding over the situation. It's a familiar plate of layered nachos and well made enough that it's clear it was made by people who knew what they were doing, but at the same time it really feels like they bet the house on not taking a single damn risk, and that alone makes me wonder where their hearts were when they were working on this in the kitchen. I really wish VEILGUARD showed me something that I didn't expect or hadn't seen before, but that's not what we're in for here. So ultimately, if you're looking for a game to pass the time by completing repetitive checklists and a well-worn formula, this is for you. But if you're looking for something with a bit more zest, I think you'd be better off in the indie space. Performance-wise, it's a little rough. The old GTX 1080's hanging in there with upscaling, but we're subjected to the usual sparkle and blurriness. Exactly what we've come to expect in the year of our Lord 2024. Not the best, not the worst, but a solid it's alright, I guess, out of 10. Subscribe to help me afford a new video card, and thanks for watching.
That's discrimination.